Welcome to Morrison Madness. I'm Lachelle.
And I'm Don.
This is our, hot and humid podcast today?
Wow. I don't know. What was it Robin Williams said? That's fine if you're with a woman. It's not so much fun if you're in the jungle.
I have no idea. So we decided.
Hot and humid. Where did you get hot and humid?
I don't know.
No, we're just
humidity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Humidifiers. It has hot and cold.
It does have hot and
they're
cold.
They're humidifiers.
Yes. Humidifiers. So we're going to do a little bit of review on humidifiers, but part of this also is that one came from Sam's and one came from Costco. So we're going to talk a little bit about Sam's and Costco potentially too, unless we run over, and then we'll make a second podcast all about the differences between Sam's and Costco. We'll see.
Well, and we had two other humidifiers.
Yes.
And the first one was used a fan.
Right.
I don't know exactly the science.
I don't even remember what brand
behind how it worked, but it used a fan.
It had a filter, and so the filter would be wet, and the fan was above the filter, so then the fan pulled the moisture up out of that filter and put it into the air, kind of idea.
Yeah, and something started going. I don't know if a bearing was going out of the fan or whatever, but we had it down in the bedroom, and it started making a
clicking sound,
horrible noise.
Right.
That was not
and the
conducive
issue
to sleeping.
with that one as well was the filter would get moldy fairly easily too, because the filter stayed wet consistently.
All the time. Right.
And so, and for us, especially living in Iowa, we start with a humidifier in like October sometimes.
Depends.
And go through March.
Depends. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the longest. But so then you're looking at 6 months with a humidifier running, and I think it recommended that you switch out the filter, I don't know, every 2 weeks or something like that, and the filters were $20 a piece, and it was kind of a nightmare. So,
and the main reason that we got that one was because you could use essential oils with it.
No, that was the second one.
You could with the first one too.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, and then we got the second one,
Okay.
And again, we bought it specifically because you could use essential oils with it, and it was the pain in the ass to fill.
Horrible to fill.
And it was a nightmare to clean.
Yes.
And it would start to get mold or mildew or something inside it. Like every month you had to be taking this thing apart and cleaning it.
Yeah, and it was a big fancy name brand, kind of expensive on Amazon. I don't even remember what it was now.
And it's not like it was, like there were places in it that were so hard to get to. I mean, it took me an hour to get it clean.
Right.
It just, had to take the whole thing apart of the kitchen sink. And I mean, it just was.
Right.
It was not fun.
Yeah, but the tank was like a square tank, and the handle
was on the top, it filled from the bottom.
Yeah, on the top, filled from the bottom. The handle wasn't flexible, so it was hard to hold on to it, and it held like 2 gallons or something.
It was big.
It was huge.
But it was big, but it didn't last long.
No, it put a lot of moisture into the air in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I don't know that it did. I feel like it just spewed water out. I mean, this one puts humidity into the air, and it has a much longer runtime than that one did.
Yes.
On the same size tank. And that one is a smaller tank, and it has a longer runtime.
Correct.
So,
correct.
Something weird was going on with that one.
Yeah, I don't...
Because we were having to fill it every day.
I think part of it was because I even remember you could see the water coming out, because we don't...
The mist.
Yeah, we don't put filtered water in them, even though they recommend that you do, but we have soft water in our house, so it's not something that I'm really worried about. But then that gets away from being able to see
the
that
water
mist.
in Iowa City, where it comes from, is naturally soft and has very low minerals in it. So
right, but that keeps it from having where you can see that mist kind of idea, and you can kind of see the mist on these too.
But not like that one.
No, and again, I think it put it out so fast, because even remember we put a towel in front of it, because in front of it would get wet.
Yes, on the little nightstand that it was sitting on.
And I think it pushed out the water so fast or so hard that the water didn't actually dispel into the room. It just literally came out of the machine and fell. Right. And then it made the stand or whatever in front of it wet. So yeah, it wasn't the best one. So it was dying. We got
these two.
Well, yeah. So we started looking for new ones.
End of November. We even talked about getting a whole.
I think this one
a full house one.
Right. I think we got this one actually in October originally.
Okay.
And then and we should say, for those that are listening, because not everybody's watching. They're HoMedics humidifiers, and this one is the 1.4 gallon capacity. And again, I'll try and find links to them, so at least you can look up and kind of see what we're talking about. I don't know that I can find links to where you can buy them, but I'll see if we can get them from Amazon. But we didn't get these on Amazon. The smaller one, the 1.4 gallon capacity, we got at Sam's Club. And Sam's Club is a little farther away. It's in Cedar Rapids, so it's about a 40-minute drive for us. And I saw it online, and I said, why don't we go ahead and get it, and we'll try it out, and we'll see. Because we talked about trying to have a couple in different rooms.
Right.
And so I said, we'll do a review later once we've gotten more. And when it first came...
So both of them, though, are by HoMedics.
Yes, both are by HoMedics. Sorry.
So the smaller one is 1.4 gallons. They both have hot and cold.
Yeah, mist. Mm-hmm.
So you can alternate back and forth.
Right.
The larger one has a remote.
Yes.
We don't use the remote, but it comes with one.
No, right. I don't know if the remote's even on it. I feel like the remote got put somewhere else.
It's in with the paperwork.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, so like you said, the smaller one came from Sam's Club. It was $59.98. Mm-hmm. And then the larger one came from Costco, and it was $79.99.
Right. So it's a little more expensive, and the larger one has a 2.0 gallon. So it's a half a gallon more kind of idea. So right now we have the little one in our bedroom and the larger one out here in our kitchen dining area. Just because the kitchen dining area is larger than our bedroom.
Right.
So for space wise.
Well, and this one takes up less space
right.
on the little nightstand that we have.
Yeah, it's taller.
Sitting on.
And so it has a smaller base to it. But yeah, when we first got this one, because when we first ordered it, it was broken. It came in the mail. It had gotten broken in the mail. And so we took it up to Sam's Club and returned it. And we were just going to buy one there at Sam's Club. And then they didn't have any in store.
Right, they're only online.
They're only online. So then we had to reorder it. So I feel like, yes, it came in November, but we had tried to order it in October. And then that one I thought we got in December.
Nope.
No, in November? Okay.
So in using the two of them, they both work great, putting humidity into the air.
Yeah. And they're super quiet.
We have humidity gauges.
Yeah.
In both the rooms that they're in to measure the humidity. And what do they say? You're supposed to have the humidity like 35 to 40%.
Or 40 to 45%. Yeah.
And so because it's so dry when it gets so cold in Iowa.
Right.
I mean, we're constantly having to fill them, but not as much as we were filling the other ones.
Right.
And they do a good job. That one does a good job of keeping the humidity up in our room.
Yep.
In the 35 to 40 range.
Yep.
And this one does a good job for out here.
You have to say which one because you're just pointing. So the smaller one does fine.
And I said in our room.
In our bedroom, right.
Right. And the larger one out here in the dining room kitchen area.
Right.
Does a good job of keeping the humidity up, at least in this part of the house. Now I don't know about the living room, but the dining room kitchen area.
Right.
So the big differences between the two, and I think if we had to do it all over again, we would probably get two of the big ones.
Yes.
Not because we don't need a big one for the bedroom.
No, it would last us several days on one fill.
Right.
In the
bedroom. But the issue again is with the smaller one, the handle is on top, and then the fill is on underneath. The bottom.
Yep.
And it's a pain in the ass. So you're having to fill it in the tub. It doesn't really fit in a sink. Unless you have one of those, I don't know, handle that comes off the sink kind of thing.
Yeah, if your sink spout is also your sprayer, then it's fine. But otherwise, no, it won't fit down underneath into the sink.
And there's no good way to hold it while you're filling it in the tub. Nope. To me, it's a weird design for them to do them that way.
Okay.
So the nice thing about the larger unit is that, and I realize that people that are just listening can't see, but on the top, it has a flip open lid,
right,
and you can just fill it from the top.
So you can have like a container.
Right, it doesn't even have to be empty. You can just, if you've got a pitcher or something to add water into it.
Yep, or you're filling it with bottled water.
So that it never runs out. Or you can take it over to the sink. It fits in our sink. Because it does
lift up.
And our sink is not that big.
Right.
And the handles for it are on the top, which makes it easy
Right,
So,
and it's a flat bottom on the tank, and you're not taking the whole machine over. The tank actually comes off of the machine,
right.
which isn't clear when I was looking at stuff on the box and things that way.
Well, it wasn't even clear when we took it out of the box.
No, because it was taped.
it was taped to the thing, and the tape was clear, and we didn't really see it.
Right,
and
right.
So sometimes we're not the smartest people unboxing stuff.
That's why we review the boxes instead. So the other big thing that I have noticed with these is that the smaller one just has one opening, and it's just going to go in one direction. Where the larger one, the opening actually turns. And so you can direct it. So if you want it to sit like sideways on a counter kind of idea, and then
Turn the nozzle.
you can turn the nozzle so
right.
that it's still coming out into the room. You can do that on the larger one, where the smaller one you cannot. So
Right.
in general, yes, for the $20 more, I would go with the larger one.
Well, and I like the fact that the larger one, the nozzle kind of is angled out into the
Right.
room. Even though it's upward, it's angled out a little bit.
Yep.
And on the smaller one,
It's pretty much straight up.
yes.
Yep. And I do believe both of them have an LCD screen on the front so you can see what your settings are and things that way. But I do believe both of them have a setting that you can turn that screen off. So if you're a sleeper that needs to have it dark and you want it in your bedroom, I'm pretty sure both have that. I know the smaller one does. I haven't checked to see because we haven't needed to use it on the larger one.
Yeah, I don't know. And they come with these little cartridges that go in them that are good for like 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the mineral content of your water, that help demineralize your water
Right.
as well, so you don't end up with crusty buildup around where the mist comes out.
Yep. Yep. And again, both of them, I feel like the smaller one would be a little bit harder to clean. It has a smaller opening. Like if you really needed to get your hand down in there kind of idea, you would have a hard time even getting your hand in the larger one, but I could get my hand down in there.
Yeah.
So the larger one has a large enough opening that you could get like a bottle brush or something that way if you have a larger hand, or as my mom always did when we were little, she just made us clean it because we had the small hands, and
We don't,
so then
yeah, but the kids
we don't
are
have
out
any
the
kids
house,
around the
so-
house anymore. So, but that was one of my chores, was to always clean the smaller stuff because I had smaller hands. But that would be one of those that I don't feel like I could get my hand in the small humidifier to clean it if we needed to, and it's big enough that it would be hard to get like a bottle brush.
Right.
Down
So
into it.
not a knock on either one of them.
No.
And, not a knock on Sam's. Like we said, the first one that came to us was broken.
I think that happened in shipping. I don't.
Right, but they returned it, no issue.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then we ordered another one.
Yep.
And then we just happened to come across this one
At Costco.
at Costco like 2 weeks later. Got
Yep.
it.
Yep.
So we're happy with both of them. We like the larger one better. It has
Right.
some ease of use things
Yep.
that make it nicer. But they're both very good. They're quiet. They
Super
run efficient.
quiet. Like
run efficiently.
I don't even know that they're on.
Right.
They're so quiet.
So
And yes, I part of the reason that they're both the same brand, things that way, was just by chance. We just knew that we wanted to get a couple and try them, and we talked about that we wanted to do a bit of a review for that here. And so they just happened to be the same company, but then from 2 different locations. So again, I'll try and put links in probably to Amazon just.
And
so
I
then that way-
apologize for all the beeping and stuff that's going on. My wife forgot to turn off our phone, and we had some biscuits in the oven that they're apparently done.
Oh, good. Well, good. So anyway, again, we like both of them. HoMedics company. It's been one of the better brands that we have had in the last several.
Of not just these
humidifiers.
things, but of other things
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They're a good company.
yeah,
So
we like the HoMedics brand. So
if you have any questions about them or comments about them, please,
Yep.
leave us a comment or a question. You can shoot us a message.
right, if there's a certain kind that you really like, let us know. We can check it out and see. We're not opposed to trying other stuff when we need it. So we can always add another one somewhere around the house if we need to. So make sure you're following us, liking us, sharing us. We hope you had a good time. We hope this is informative and that you will come back for another one. We'll see you later.